Hi, my name is Carolyn Pope, and I'm from Muncie, Indiana, where Great Pearl Rescue is. This is Frankie. She is a miniature horse. She's 18 years old and is about 30 inches tall. So when they asked us if we could read a very important book with a great message, we were more than happy to do so. The book that we're reading today is called The Smallest Horse. It's by Lori List, and it really does have a really good message. Frankie's going to help me read. What do you think? At first glance, you might think Trixie is a pony. She's very small, after all, like you. She is, for example, much, much smaller than the big horse Huey with his very long legs. She could probably walk right underneath his belly, and he wouldn't even notice. She's even smaller than Indy and Valentine, and they actually are ponies. She is a very, very small horse. She is a miniature horse. Trixie never said it out loud, but sometimes she wished she weren't so small. The other horses all have very important jobs that only big horses can do. Huey's often rounding up missing cattle on the ranch. When Trixie tried to help, she got lost in the tall grass, and Huey had to round her up. Indy is both sure-footed and brave, and the other horses trust her to keep them safe on the trail rides. Trixie tried to show the other horses she was brave too, but the creek was too deep for her to cross. Augie is always bringing home bright-colored ribbons from horse shows. Trixie studied his fancy moves, but they didn't look the same when she tried them. Kestrel is the fastest horse on the ranch, and Trixie thought if she were faster, perhaps she could have the important job. Trixie practiced fast every day, but she could never keep up with Kressler. Even little Valentine has a very important job teaching the youngest children how to ride. Trixie tried to look big and strong, but nobody put a saddle on her. The big horses tried to cheer Trixie up by reminding her of all the things she liked about being such a small horse. Indy said, "But you're the perfect size for little children who want to braid flowers and ribbons into a horse's mane and tail." Trixie had to admit that she liked that very much. Kessler said, "Whenever you want to take a nap, it's a snap for you to find a warm spot and curl up in the sun. I can barely fold up my long legs, right? And then I land on the ground with a big thump whenever I want to lie down." And Huey reminded Trixie that she also won whenever the horses played hide and seek. He said there's lots of great hiding places for a small, clever horse, but not very many for a big horse. Trixie knew the horses meant well, but playing games and taking naps just weren't the same as having an important job. No, she did not think that being small was really very nice at all. One afternoon, Trixie was munching on her favorite blackberry bush when a young girl and her mom arrived at the ranch. The girl's mom explained to Chrissy, the ranch manager, that her daughter had been sad since her best friend had moved away. She said Sarah loves horses, and I'm hoping they might cheer her up. Chrissy said, "I'm sure we can help with that." She took Sarah's hand and led her over to the big horses. The big horses all trotted up to the fence to check out the new people. Trixie shook her head to get her thick mane out of her eyes so she could see the little girl. The little girl looked up at Huey's long nose, then down at his very long hoofs. She took several steps back. Huey reached out with his nose just to say hello, but the little girl shrank back and turned away. They're so big, she whispered. Chrissy smiled and said, I know just who you need to meet. Trixie watched as the two of them walked toward her, unlatched the gate, and stepped into the pasture. Christy said, This is Trixie. She is so kind and considerate, and she always helps me feel better when I'm sad. Let's see if she can help you too. As Chrissy and the little girl walked softly toward her, Trixie did her best to look very, very small. Trixie stretched out her neck until the whiskers on her muzzle just barely touched the girl. She nickered a soft hello. The big horses watched as the little girl with the sad eyes slowly smiled at the small horse that was exactly her size. Trixie's ears flickered forward and she gave her tail a shake as she realized that actually does have a very important job to do at the ranch. Being the smallest horse helps her do it even that much better. Frankie here is, like I said, going into a therapy program. She's been standing here a long time today, so she's kind of a little nudging. I think she's getting tired, but she enjoys the time we spend together, as do I. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this story. And please, if you'd like to check it out again, it's called The Smallest Horse by Lori List.